In life, we get sick, we get older, we lose people we love. And when we experience these things, we don't naturally observe them as passing events. We internalize them. We look at the broken pieces of our lives and decide, I am broken. To avoid that feeling, we spend almost every waking moment trying to manipulate our environment. We buy new things, we build our careers, and curate our relationships, all in a desperate attempt to keep the pain at bay. Thousands of years ago, the ancient Indian philosophy of Vedanta offered a radical diagnosis. It proposed that the physical world we take so seriously is actually mithya. It is an illusion, comparable to a dream. At first, this sounds absurd. If you pinch your arm, it hurts. People are born, people suffer, people die. How could a world that produces such agonizing, tangible grief possibly be fake?
To make sense of this ancient paradox, we have to look past the physical world entirely and examine the exact psychological mechanism of how human beings construct their sense of I. Imagine putting on a virtual reality headset, so technologically advanced that the graphics and physics are indistinguishable from real life. You start as a tiny, vulnerable character. You follow the game's instructions, completing tasks, gaining experience, and unlocking new abilities. Eventually, your avatar builds a complex life. You acquire possessions and a home. You form friendships, fall in love, get married, and have children. But here is the most critical feature of this simulation. The design is so compelling that you completely forget you are wearing a headset in the real world. Once your awareness is totally consumed by the avatar, the virtual environment ceases to be a game. It becomes your absolute, inescapable reality. Then the story takes a turn. You are traveling through a dangerous sector of the game when a monster attacks. You try to protect your child, but you fail. You watch as they die right in front of you. You are shaking. You are crying uncontrollably. You cannot eat or sleep, and everything that held meaning a moment ago collapses into a world of unbearable sorrow. And then, in the depths of that despair, you remove the headset. You are sitting safely in your quiet room. The child you were grieving for was never actually there. The monster never killed anyone. The blood was pixels. The tragedy never happened. You were never the character. You only identified with him. Because you believed yourself to be the avatar, everything that happened to him felt like it was happening to you. Humans commit this exact same error every day. We identify completely with our physical body-mind complex, forgetting that we are the observer of the experience, not the experience itself. What we call personal suffering is the consequence of this confusion, of mistaking the avatar's story for our own. Vedanta identifies the true player as the Atman, the pure consciousness that sits safely behind the character's eyes. Everything you experience, the passing thoughts, the moments of joy, the deep sorrows, and the aging of your body, are objects that are known. As this diagram shows, our emotions and physical states are in constant flux, but the central sphere of light, the knower, cannot logically change. Even when the outer ring turns jagged with trauma, the center remains undisturbed. Aging and loss do not touch the observing consciousness. This is why Vedanta does not offer the shallow comfort of telling you, don't be sad. It demands a radical investigation of who is actually sad. Realizing this distance between the observer and the observed is what the ancient texts call moksha, or total liberation. This liberation doesn't mean the game stops. The monsters don't disappear, and the body doesn't become immortal. The story will still contain its share of victory and tragedy, but the foundation of sorrow is removed once you know with absolute certainty that you are not the character. True freedom is the discovery that you were always the eternal witness, merely watching the game play out.